Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the 2nd of December 2024. Now, I'll be honest with you, because December tends to be quite slow when it comes to announcements, particularly the last few weeks of the month. I thought there is a possibility I will struggle to find top five worthy companies in terms of announcements, but I had no problem. No problem at all. In fact, there are a couple of companies that could have shown their faces in the top five, but did not make it. No small cap stock of the day. Instead, I'm doing an answer reply video, doing a stand video on one particular question from your Frenchman. And the stock of the day was a fight between Northern Star and Metcash. And I went with Metcash because they did release half-year results. And I do prefer half-year results over an acquisition that might not be perfectly timed. Anyway, I'll talk about Northern Star during this video. Okay, so let's get stuck into the ASX today. It was an okay day today, I suppose. Everything's in the green, but in the green by a small amount. Results up 0.27%. The worst performing indice down up 0.06% was Orthocell. So let's have a look at the different sectors and indices. For some reason, tech took a bit of a nosedive at about 10:30. Not sure what that was, and it recovered almost immediately. It was probably one company being sold off and then recovered. I have no idea what company that would be. Individual sectors, IT up by 0.91%. Discretionary had a pretty good day as well. Energy up over 0.5%. And the only sector down by a meaningful amount was healthcare, down 0.4%. So maybe CSL was down. Who knows? In fact, we could look. We could find out. So let's actually do that right now. Was CSL down, and is that why healthcare was down today? Or was there was a little bit of sell-off in many of the healthcare companies? Which I suppose is important. Actually, we'll do this by market cap. Yeah, there was I suppose... No, not really. CSL down 0.86%. A little bit of red there, but also a bit of green. But because CSL's market cap is massive compared to the rest of the healthcare companies, if CSL has a good or bad day, I think the healthcare sector will have a good or bad day, similar to the company itself. Okay, let's move on to the indices. Yeah, it's fairly quiet day, although gold down 1.55%. And I'm wondering if that's because of Northern Star. Northern Star share price should be down about 5 or 6% because of this acquisition of De Grey, which I'll talk about in a second. And the XTX, or the XTL, I mean, ASX 20 up 0.23%. So let's have a look at the best and worst performing companies within the XTL. I'm going to say 13 companies up, 7 down. And I'm right. I should celebrate when I'm right. But let's have a look at the best and worst performing companies here. So those companies down, and not down by big. So the worst performing company was REA Group, down 0.59%, and CSL down 0.56%. And the best performing ASX 20, Wesfarmers, up 1.99%, while Woodside and WiseTech, all W's. So W's had a great day today. In fact, all three companies that have seen the share price rise by more than 1% today start with W. Is that a coincidence? Or is the letter of today W? Or 2 V's? Anyway, that's probably all I want to talk about right now when it comes to sectors and indices. Let's have a look at the top gainers and top losers. The best performing companies and the worst performing companies today. I might have missed something, so we'll start with the top gainers. A company called Macro Metals up 50%. Fairly low turnover. I doubt Macro Metals released anything of note. I could be wrong. And they did actually. In fact, they released a strategic placement to Paramount Earthmoving. They also had a non-deal presentation. I have no idea what that is. So obviously this strategic placement triggered a bit of buying today. We can actually open that up. Let's have a look. Paramount Earthmoving. Sounds like a deal or something. Macro strengthening strategic alliance with Paramount Earthmoving, with Paramount making a binding commitment to a $4 million placement to accelerate mining services division. Okay, so this is not necessarily a mining exploring company. They also have a mining services division based off this particular company. Paramount is one of West Australia's fastest growing equipment hire companies. And with this placement, the company, the macro board, post-strategic placement of the macro board and management will control approximately 40% of macro's fully diluted share capital. Post-strategic placement, the macro board, okay. And what price is this placement at? There's some, I didn't see any price. That's one thing I didn't see. Surely there's a price somewhere here. I saw a price of some options, 5 cents. But there's no, here it is, at 1 cent. Yeah, 1 cent. 402 million shares at 1 cent. So this is going to be dilutive. And to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fans of placements or anything like that. It doesn't really mean anything in the long run. So let's have a little chart for macro metals. And this is the weekly chart. So let's go back to the daily chart. And there's a lot of interest in this company back in March, April, May. And that interest has died away until maybe recently. But yeah, I think we can move on from macro metals. Some of the other companies have done well today. Harris Technology, fairly low turnover there. Australian Dairy Nutritionals is up a fair bit on good turnover. So this is definitely one I would have missed. Not the sort of company that would draw me in, even if they do release something interesting. And they didn't, because they did receive a price query from the ASX. And I do actually like looking at price queries, because sometimes in section 3, the company will give us possibly some insight, something that I wouldn't know about otherwise. Maybe a broker upgraded, or maybe there's some chat on hot copper. Typically, they don't say hot copper, they just say some social media or anything like that. So typically, a company will answer no to question 1, question 2 is not applicable, and then question 3, they do have a bit of leeway. They're allowed to use a bit of creative license to try to explain why the share price is trading higher or lower. And so let's have a look to see what they've answered in part 3. Because they went no, not applicable. The company recently held its AGM where all resolutions were carried. I don't think that's why the share price has increased. The board and management have received positive feedback following the AGM because all resolutions were carried. In addition, the company understands, so the first bit was probably a throwaway. Probably the second paragraph might have something to do with it. In addition, the company understands that there was a recent article in the Australian Business Review in the margin call section under the title Cash Trumps Transfer for CBA's Duo Election Bet. Don't cry over spilt milk, just pour some more, on Friday the 29th of November, that referenced the company, which may have generated additional interest in the company. I can almost guarantee you that first paragraph, nothing to do with it. No one cares about the AGM at all. There might have been positive feedback, but that's probably from already current shareholders. So without doubt, this ABR article had something to do with it. I'd say without doubt. Now, there's no proof, but I'd say, yeah, I think so. Okay, so let's have a look at the chart. And, geez. Okay, so maybe that had something to do with it, but something else happened on Friday. And did they say when this announcement was released? It was released on the 29th. Yeah, the 29th. It doesn't say when. So I'd say this would have been released in the morning, and that's why the share price has rallied 2 days in a row. So the share price up 22.6% on Friday and a further 31.6% on the Monday. And that's why there might have been a little bit of interest in this company. But there's also another reason, or possible reason. Look at the chart. Look at the chart before these 2 days. Look at the chart. Something's happening else here. The chart has, the sentiment in this company is definitely turned. So I think maybe that did play a role, but also I think technicals played a role as well. And maybe some day traders are having a bit of fun with AHF. De Grey Mining, there is a takeover bid for that company by Northern Star, share price up 29.61%. Straker, not sure what's happening there. Did not see any announcements from that company, and I know that because that's one company I do follow a little bit more closely than these other companies here. I'm just going to have a quick look at Straker. They did have their release results. Was it last week? I think they released results. Was it last week they released results? Yeah, 27th. So possibly that's why, yeah, we've started to see a bit of an increase in volume, but that was around the 14th of November. And so increase in volume, and now we've started seeing an increase in share price. And maybe that is in relation to, or correlated, maybe correlated, but that is related to their financial results. And the financial results were not that bad. Yeah. Anyway, now let's have a look at top gainers by markup just to see if there's any big companies that did pretty good today. So gold resources, maybe there's people buying some of these gold companies because of rumors of further takeovers, that sort of thing. Maya up 12.26%. I'm pretty sure that is from an upgrade. I did actually receive an email. And in this email, they did go through all the upgrades and downgrades for companies. And I'm pretty sure I saw Maya was upgraded by someone like UBS or someone. I can't remember who. Our share price up 12.26%. Now, what we could do is just Google Maya and Google ASX. And it should give us a bit of news here, maybe. News. No. Anyway, I'll just say I think that's the reason why the share price of Maya is up today, because there was an upgrade. And for some reason, people like when these institutions are doing upgrades because it gives them a sign that they should buy. I don't know. In fact, the chart for Maya doesn't look that half bad. It looks actually not that bad, yeah. It's actually a nice looking chart for Maya. What else do we have here? Star Entertainment Group up. Let's just go past that one. Symbol Group, which is a recent listing. Webjet, pretty good end to last week. Orthocell, I bought some shares in Orthocell. I should mention that today. Share price, I actually talk about Orthocell when I get to that portion of the video because it is in my top 5 stocks of the day. Smart Bays had a nice little bounce, which is not a surprise because it was oversold and now it's bouncing. And BetMakers keeps going up. Okay, let's get to the top losers today. Let's see if any company is that's in my top 5 is in this list, and I expect at least one company to be in this list. Black Dragon down 43.75%. I don't remember this company being in the top or the announcements, but typically the share price is down by that amount. Either it's a bit of noise, low liquidity, or they did release something negative. And yes, permitting delays for Salav Gold. Delays is the probably important word there. Delays. And obviously the market doesn't like delays. Of course it doesn't. It's an obvious one. And that's why the share price is down for Black Dragon Gold. Let's have a quick look at the chart for Black Dragon Gold. And wow, look at that. Yes, so a lot of excitement, and then that excitement has completely faded away. It didn't take very long at all. In fact, the share price started increasing towards the end of October. It's taken about a month for the excitement in Black Dragon Gold to completely dry up. Just behind Black Dragon Gold, we have Canada Resources. I do remember this company releasing something, and I think it was just the timing, if I remember correctly. It was just before I went away from the computer. Yeah, so 9:32 a.m. shareholder update. I did not have a close look at this one because I don't think this company is in production. I could be wrong though. Looks like they went through. They had results of the AGM. Okay. So obviously there was something in this that the market didn't like. Maybe it was the equity placement cap. I don't know. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for CAE Canada. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this company last week, just because of the name. Oh yeah, the share price up a fair bit on Friday, up 26%, and now it's down 28.57%. So I mentioned how Black Dragon Resources share price was up, or the sentiment just completely shifted in like a month. Well, the sentiment in Canada Resources shifted within a day. So really positive on Friday, back to negative on Monday. You can see a really big volume coming in towards the end of October. And that's probably the most interesting thing about this chart is just the massive volume. What else do we have here? Vection Technologies, I would say that's probably a bit of noise. Let's confirm. Share price has risen a fair bit over the past month or so. And yes, bit of noise. And when I mean a fair bit, let's have a look at the chart for Vection. I did write this down as an interesting because share price has dipped back and it's dipped back a lot. So 5 big down days in a row after a rapid rise. I have no interest. Findy down again, 16.92%. The reason I'm happy about that, if I could be happy, is because I did take profits on Friday. That was a profit-taking announcement and a reaction from the market. And I'm a little bit surprised the share price is down a lot today. So the chart for Findy is not going to look good because on Friday, the share price did close or end at a fairly significant, important level. And that level was about $6 and a pretty bad day today. Now, maybe it's in a support zone. That's the longer-term moving average channel. And you can see the share price back in August and September fell into that zone and we did see some buying coming in. But 2 really big down days in a row on really big volume. It's not positive. Now, I'd say there is a chance it is oversold and you might see a bit of a bounce, but this is not a good day for Findy at all. But will I sell the remaining part of my holding in this? Maybe. I'll see what happens tomorrow. GQG down 14%. I will talk about that. It is in my top 5 stocks of the day. However, they did not release an announcement, which is interesting. Okay, so let's have a look at top losers by market cap. So we're going to see GQG, Nuix. I have completely sold out of Nuix. That was a few weeks ago. The main reason I sold out of Nuix was just that big down day on the 13th of November. There was a little bit of a rally in the share price the last 3 days of last week, and now we have seen the share price pull back again. So I just don't like that big down day. That's all it takes for me to sell out because I think maybe this is a sign the uptrend is coming to an end. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I do it. Orabana's down. Vulcan. Have a quick look at Vulcan. And this was really interesting not that long ago, and now looks like the share price has, I wouldn't say collapsed, but it has pulled back. And whenever I see the share price rally like this, I just think it either has to pull back or you're going to see a consolidation period. And for Vulcan, the share price has pulled back. But maybe it's pulling back to sort of a buy area. Maybe. I don't know. And what else? SKS Technologies down 9.5%. I'd say that's just a little bit of profit taking if I had to guess. And that's about it. And when I say profit taking, if you just have a look at the chart, these sort of days happen a fair bit for these type of companies. You can just see the share price is still an uptrend, so nothing to be concerned about. In fact, it wasn't that long ago, 20th of November, share price dropped 7% in one day, and then the next day, share price went up 13.9%. So you have to be aware that these companies' share price can rise or drop by a fair bit in one day. All it takes is one seller to maybe dump on market, and then you see a little bit of pressure on the share price. In fact, if you have a look at the, let's have a look at the, what do you call it? The course of sales. It could have been just happened in one bit, or maybe there was just drips and drabs throughout the day. Yeah, slowly going down, and then all towards the end of trading, we did see a bit of a dump. In fact, you might be able to see that just in the, say, 5-minute chart. Now, we'll go to 1-hour chart. Yeah, we did see a bit of selling coming in late. Although, look in the chart. So this reminds me exactly what we saw on the 19th of November. A fair bit of selling, and then the buying came in the next day. Yeah, not a lot of volume, very little volume today, which is encouraging. Okay. Now let's turn our attention to the top 5 stocks of the day, and we'll start off with Netwealth. Share price was down 5%, and they did release a December update. So December 2024 business update, Netwealth and Hub24, I sort of think in similar terms. Now, I am a client of Netwealth, I should mention that. I do have my super through this particular company. And one of the reasons I probably won't invest in Netwealth is because I'm a client. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's just something. I just maybe have some, I wouldn't say agenda, but maybe it's a rule I should have. Anyway, maybe it's a silly rule. I don't know. Anyway, the company has achieved a major milestone. They did highlight that straight away, exceeding $100 billion funds under administration on its 25th anniversary. So congratulations, Netwealth. Net inflows for financial year 25, 6.6 billion in market movement of 5.6 billion. The flagship managed account has exceeded 20.6 billion as industry adoption continues to accelerate. They have also launched a new online experience for advisors and investors. So really nothing much within this announcement that would have drew me in or out if I was a shareholder or willing to become a shareholder. But the market actually did react a little bit negative. So share price down 5%. So let's have a look at the chart for this company just to see. Now that's a 1 hour chart. And yep, nothing here, nothing to worry about for Netwealth. Wasn't that long ago, October last year, the share price dropped all the way down to $12. Share price has more than doubled since then. A really nice looking chart. Maybe it's overvalued, maybe this is a little bit of profit taking. But if I was trading or owning Netwealth right now, I would not be worried. And that is also true for Hub24. Chart looks brilliant. And this was a trade I did have, and then I just took profits way too soon. Way too soon. Although share price also down. Maybe there's a little bit of selling in Hub24 because Netwealth. Okay, so that's Netwealth coming in at number 5. They did release a business update, and there was a negative reaction from the market, which is interesting. Coming in at number 4, we have Orthocell. Share price only up 7.41%. At one point today, share price was up 25%. So we have seen a bit of selling, and I did take a position in the company today on the pullback. Now, that could be a mistake. Now, outstanding, for some reason, I thought they were going to get FDA approval, but that was a little bit misguided. Outstanding, because they went into trading halt on the 29th, and the trading halt mentioned, I did talk about this, was it on Friday? And the trading halt did mention regarding the whole reason they're in the trading halt, regarding the results of a regulatory study required for an application to the FDA to gain market approval of Rempla in the United States. Now, there are a few things I'm not clear about when it comes to Orthocell and Rempla, what the total addressable market is, how much they think they could sell in the United States. Maybe it's a very small amount. Maybe they won't gain any traction. I don't know. But anyway, outstanding Rempla study results pave way for FDA clearance. And the whole reason why I took a position is, I wouldn't say this reminds me of neuropharmaceuticals, but it's sort of moving in that direction. And I fully expect FDA approval. Was it the first few months of next year? They do mention here somewhere. It's already approved in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. So it's already being sold there. Where does it mention? For some reason, I just think it was in the first few months of next year they'll start selling. So here we go. They expect US FDA clearance in the first quarter of the calendar year 2025, and commercial distribution sooner thereafter. So there's still a lot of questions I do have in regards to Rempla, how much they would sell, how much they're selling it for, that sort of thing. So it's very hard to put a valuation to Orthocell at this point in time, unless you do a really deep dive into the company and into a Remplia, whatever it's called. Anyway, so Orthocell coming in number 4, although I should have a look at the chart. Now, one thing I don't like about the chart is the one-day candlestick for Monday. So it's colored red here. That means there was selling during the day. So share price actually opened at 98 cents, went to a high of $1.03 within the first 10 or 15 minutes of trading, and pulled all the way back to the low of the day. That's actually quite negative. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more selling coming in through the day. So I could have been a little bit early, a little bit impatient, taking a position of or in Orthocell today, but I thought this pullback was enough. So I said, if the share price pulls back tonight, I'll take a position. So I took a position, I think it was at 88 cents, 87.5 cents, I think it was. Anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few days. But anyway, this chart does look good, even with this bit of a one-day candlestick. Anyway, so Orthocell is still moving in the right direction. And when they do start selling Rempler in the United States, it's going to be interesting to see their first few quarterlies. Coming in number 3, we have GQG, who did not release anything today. However, share price is down 14%. And this is something that did intrigue me. I saw the share price down 14%, and I went, no announcements. What happened here? I actually did Google it. Yeah, I did Google it. I just went, GQG, ASX. What's happening here? Here we go. And Dani investor QGQ's share price plunge over 50% after UBS downgrades. And then I went, oh yeah, that's right. This email I received that advised me of an upgrade for Myers also advised of a downgrade for GQG. And yes, that's all it took for the share price of this company to drop 15% because there was a downgrade. No other news, so it can only be this. Maybe there was a bit of negative sentiment in the company. So this is another case where another company that I was trading and I got out. So you can see a beautiful uptrend developing. Share price broke out late 2023, and for most of 2024, share price was in an uptrend. Share price started to go sideways, so it lost that uptrend signal, and that's when I took a bit of profit. And I was wondering, oh, did I make a mistake? Was I being a little bit too impatient when it comes to this company? I thought, no, I'm not seeing any reason to keep holding GQG because I could see the share price going higher or lower. And then the company released, Adani, what happened with Adani? The Adani guy was charged with fraud or whatever, a bribery. That's why the share price plunged on, what date was that? The 21st of November. Share price didn't do much since then, but today share price down a lot because of a downgrade from whoever it was, UBS. Was it UBS? Yeah, UBS. There we go. So that's GQG, and that's all I need to talk about because now this chart is looking even more negative than it was before. Now on to Northern Star and the Grey. Northern Star and the Grey. Northern Star share price down 5%. The Grey share price up 29.61%. The question is, I suppose the market doesn't like this particular acquisition for Northern Star. They like it for De Grey because it's at a premium, a pretty big premium. Now, I do prefer mining companies to make acquisitions at the bottom of the cycle. That's the time to really deploy your capital. I wouldn't say we're at the bottom of the cycle when it comes to gold. So I'm just not sure about De Grey or this acquisition. Not even sure about De Grey. I don't know anything about their project. I don't think they're in production just yet, but maybe there's going to be some synergies, one of my least favorite words. Maybe there will be some synergies, and maybe they will be able to draw out more from this particular project that De Grey has. I'm not sure when they will be in production, but maybe this will be beneficial for Northern Star in the long run. But it is a pretty big premium. If I remember correctly, I'm going to open up the presentation. It was a pretty big premium. I'm thinking 40%. I could be wrong. Let me have a look. I'm gonna not find it. I'm gonna go right past the acquisition numbers. And so the presentation is all about them selling this merged entity. So benefits to De Grey shareholders. Well, the benefit is, you've got a massive increase in share price. So you can just sell now if you want. Benefits to Northern Star. So they're going through the benefits. Here he goes, transaction summary. And the premium was 37.1% premium to the share price at the end of closing on the 29th, and a 43.9% premium to De Grey's 30-day VWAP. So this is it's a pretty high premium. So we have seen a pretty good increase in gold company share prices on valuations over the past, say, year or so as gold prices have increased. So this is a pretty big premium. And I do have questions about this acquisition just because it's not near the bottom of the cycle. And that's when I think mining companies should make their acquisitions. They should prepare for that possibility and then strike and make those acquisitions, because any acquisition at the bottom of the cycle would be company making acquisitions. They could significantly grow just by doing that. But I don't think management would have that sort of patience. And I don't think, more importantly, I don't think shareholders would have that impatience. They want return of capital through dividends or through something else, not for management to keep cash on the side waiting for the cycle to turn negative. Anyway, so let's have a look at charts for Northern Star and De Grey. We'll just start with De Grey. And yeah, the chart looks pretty good. What can you say? Funny enough, the share price of De Grey broke out the downtrend back in September at around about $1.28. So if you actually caught that breakout, you've done pretty well since then. Northern Star chart looks pretty good. I think most gold companies' charts look pretty good. And even our share price has dipped a little bit today, there's no reason to get a little bit negative about Northern Star right now. Share price at $16.59. And yeah, so chart looks pretty good. But again, I just wonder whether this is a good timing. This acquisition is good timing. Okay, and finally, the stock of the day, which I have done a standalone video, is Metcash. A good reaction from the market. Share price up 2.24% on release of their half-year results. A little bit of margin contraction within their hardware pillar, but nice growth in food, and their outlook and trading update was a little bit positive. And that's one of the reasons why the share price is up 2.24%. So look out for that particular standalone video on Metcash, which I will release 2 hours after the release of this video. So around about 7, we'll say about 8 o'clock Brisbane time, so maybe 9 o'clock the rest of the eastern states. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. No further time, unfortunately, to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.